who are prepared to call this special council meeting of the Corporation of the Town of Tillsonburg, which will lead us into the annual general meeting of Tillsonburg Hydro Incorporated as a portion of the agenda of this meeting today. Thanks all for attendance, members of council, leadership team, and of course, importantly, the representatives of the board of directors and support team of THI. It is now noon. There are no closed sessions, and we'll move for a resolution to adopt the agenda of the council meeting of June the 28th. Councillor Gavese, you have that resolution, please.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Esseltine that the agenda is prepared for the special council meeting of June 28th, 2022 be approved.
Thank you, Councillor. Discussion from members present. We'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Resolution is carried. A roll call for members of council will recognize that all members of council are present, but there is regrets from Councillor Parker. We're meeting at noon and other priorities, but recognize and thank him for communicating those regrets. Regarding the agenda as circulated for the council portion of today's meeting, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest, general nature thereof for members present? And seeing none, there's a resolution to move into the annual meeting of Tillsonburg Hydro Incorporated. Councillor Esseltine, you have that resolution, please?
I'll move by myself, seconded by Councillor Gavese, that the council move into the annual general meeting of the shareholder of Tillsonburg Hydro Inc. at 12:03 p.m.
Thank you. Discussion? We'll call that question. All those in favor? Opposed? Resolution is carried. It's now my pleasure to hand the chair of the AGM of the shareholders for THI off to Chair Dan Razokas. So thanks very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and members of council. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 12:03 p.m. the THI annual general meeting. I'm going to do a roll call as THI is all on Zoom right now. Please say present when I say your name. Ann Loker.
Present.
Rob Kent.
Present.
John Gavese.
Present.
And we have regrets from Ernie Bidovic, Alex Urbanowitz today, so they're not.
Dan, Alex did call me, and he is actually in a library somewhere trying to get internet connections. So
okay.
he is going to try and get in.
So he might try and get in a little later. Okay. If we see him come on, I will announce it for the meeting. Okay. First item up is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover and a seconder?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that. It's moved by myself, Deputy Mayor Barra, seconded by Councillor Luciani, that the agenda is prepared for the AGM of Tillsonburg Hydro Inc. on June 28th, 2022 be adopted.
Is there any discussion around the agenda? I don't hear anybody or see anything, so all in favor? Any opposed? And it's carried. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Being none, we'll move to item 4, the adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting. Do I have a mover and a seconder?
I will move, moved by Penny Esseltine, seconded by Councillor Rosehard, that the minutes of the Tillsonburg Hydro Inc. annual general meeting of June 29th, 2021 be approved.
Is there any discussion regarding the minutes? If not, all in favor? Opposed? And it's carried. Item number 5 is the appointment of directors for Tillsonburg Hydro, Inc. Do we have a mover and a seconder?
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Luciani that the appointment of directors for Tillsonburg Hydro, Inc. shall be as follows: Ann Loker, Dan Rizokis, Ernie Vidovic, Alex Urbanowitz, John Gavazzi, and Robert Kent.
Is there any discussion regarding the directors for Tillsonburg Hydro, Inc.? Not seeing any hands. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we move to 6, finance, and 6.1, the 2021 audited financial statements. Do we have a mover and a seconder?
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Barris that the auditor's report for 2021 as presented by Millard, Roos, and Roseburg and all activities and transactions for the year ended December 31st, 2021 be approved.
Do we have any discussion regarding the financial statements? Any questions? Not. All in favor of, oh, sorry, someone have
Mr.
a hand?
Chairman, just,
Yes.
was there a presentation that was to be made? I saw Diane, I thought, or pop in there at one point.
Diane is here. Diane, would you like to discuss the financial statement?
Yes, I can go through just to do a brief, yeah, let me just get my video here. I can do a brief presentation. If anyone has any questions, let me know. Just to start out, page 1 and 2 is our standard independent auditors report. It goes through our opinion, which is a clean opinion with no qualifications. It goes through the basis of opinion. The other matter, which still references the COVID pandemic note, responsibilities of management and those charged with governance, as well as the auditor's responsibility. This is the same format that you would have seen in the prior year. Page 3 is a statement of financial position. Overall cash was $700,000 at the end of the year. Unbilled revenue, 1.6 million, was down 520,000, and that was due to a lower cost of electricity as part of the global adjustment portion. The income taxes recoverable of 87,000, that relates to net loss for tax as CCA was higher than the depreciation. Property, plant, and equipment of 18.7 million. That is up 1.3 million from prior year. There was additions of 2 million, with the majority being in the distribution systems, which was offset by amortization of 733,000. The regulatory assets are 1.5 million, with the big portions being the retail settlement variances and deferred tax asset. Going down to accounts payable of 1.6 million, that primarily relates to the IASO that was paid in January. And due to related parties of 1.2 million represents the monies that go to the town after the year end. Long-term debt of 5 million, that was the amount that was approved for capital projects. And the deferred tax liability of 606,000 is also included in the regulatory assets above. Deferred contributions of 3.8 million. There was a 606,000 addition here with 117,000 amortized during the year, to get down to your total liabilities and regulatory balances of 25.1 million at the year end. Page 4 is a statement of changes in equity, which shows the comprehensive income of 495,000 and the dividends of 200,000, which is comparable to the 2020 year. Page 5, statement of comprehensive income. Here we have overall revenues of 25.1 million, which were down 2 million. And we see that difference in the energy sales of a drop of 2.2 million. The prior year did have almost a 3 million increase from 2019. So this is just more in line with the previous years. Looking down at expenses, operating and maintenance was down 124,000. General administration was up 100,000 and depreciation was up 70,000. Looking at cost of power of 21.5 million, that was down 2.5 million, which is consistent with the decrease in the energy sales. If we go down and look at the income taxes, there's two portions, the 222,000 and then is offset by the 213,000 below in the net movement area. So really there's a net tax payable of 9,000 to get down to total income of 495,000 for the year. The rest of the statements go through the various notes, which you would have seen in the prior year. There, we did provide some additional details and a couple of the notes this year, just highlighting that in note 6, we expanded the property, plant, and equipment note. And in note 11, we expanded the payments in lieu of taxes. So that's just a quick snapshot of what happened during the year, unless anyone has any questions or would like to add anything.
If there's no questions, I'd like to thank Diane for the work she's put in, and everyone at Millard's. The audit went very well. You know, they're very easy to work with, and make it pretty straightforward for everyone on the THIN. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
If there's no further comments or discussion on the financial statements, can I have everyone who is in favor of the motion? Is there anyone opposed? Carried. 6.2 is the appointment of the auditor for the 2022 fiscal year. Do I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Yeah, moved by myself, Councilor Luciani, and seconded by Councilor Rosehart, that the shareholder appoint Millard, Rose, and Roseborough as auditor for Tillsonburg Hydro Inc. for 2022 fiscal year.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item number 7 and 7.1 is the appointment of the legal counsel for 2022 fiscal year. Do you have a mover and a seconder for that motion?
Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Barris that the shareholder appoint Aird and Barreless LLP as general legal counsel for Tillsonburg Hydro Inc. for the 2022 fiscal year.
Is there any discussion regarding the lawyer? Just for those who may not know, Aird and Barreless is they're the experts in the LDC industry for utilities within the province of Ontario. Most of their partners publish books regarding the industry. They know the ins and outs of everything that goes on. So that's why we, as THI, use Aird and Barreless as our legal counsel when it comes to items related to hydro matters. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Carried. 7.2 is ratification of the Tillsonburg Hydro Inc. board decisions for the 2021 fiscal year. Do you have a mover and a seconder, please?
Thank you. Moved by myself, Councilor Rosehart, second by Councilor Esseltine, that the actions and proceedings of the Board of Directors of Tillsonburg Hydro Inc. for the 2021 fiscal year be hereby ratified and confirmed. Thank you.
Are there any questions regarding the decisions? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. 7.3 is a THI bylaw amendment. Do you have a mover and a seconder on this item?
Mr. Chairman, would you stand by for a moment, please?
Certainly.
Mr. Chairman, I'll read the resolution moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Luciani, that the amendments to the THI bylaw as proposed by the Board of Directors of Tillsonburg Hydro Corporation Incorporated be received, and that consideration of proposed amendments be completed prior to any ratification.
Is there any discussion regarding the motion?
Mr. Chair, or Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yeah, just as a member of the shareholder, I think the shareholders were actually in receipt of this information to the agenda less than 24 hours ago. So I think it's mostly about the opportunity that shareholder, both individually and collectively, have the capacity and the time to review appropriately and then make their response back to the shareholder, who I individually suggest or to the board, who have done an excellent job. But I think it'd be prudent from the shareholder to have that opportunity.
Fully understand and agree with it. It's an important document. You want to make sure that both parties are always happy with it. All right. Any further discussion regarding that motion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. And before I go into number 8, the adjournment, I'd just like to say a few words thanking the town of Tillsonburg, the staff, the management, everyone there for the work that they do for the town and for Tillsonburg Hydro, as the town of Tillsonburg and its staff are general contractors. Essentially, they do all of the work for us. You've been a pleasure to work with. Same with the members of council for having the confidence in THI and the board to provide safe, reliable, cost-efficient power to the residents of the town. We do look forward to continuing to do so, to improve the utility every chance that we get, and just ensure that it's a viable, ongoing entity within the town. And I'd also like to thank the members of the board. We have a very, very well-functioning board. We do have great discussions. While there is disagreement from time to time, it's always done in a very respectful manner based on facts and information, rather than any personal feelings that might be out there. So thanks again for all the work that everyone puts in. I know there's a lot of homework that goes into it as well. So it is greatly appreciated. And on that note, we'll move to number 8, the adjournment. And do I have a mover and a seconder?
I'll move by myself, seconded by Councillor Luciani, that the annual general meeting of Tillsonburg Hydro Inc. be adjourned, and that the shareholder move back into the regular council session at 12:20 p.m.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
We have resumed a regular session of council on this special council meeting of the 28th of June. On behalf of council and our leadership team, through you, Dan, and your entire board, thank you for the continued efforts that the members present and those unable to join us here today have brought to the value. You mentioned citizens, but also stakeholders, and importantly, the businesses of the town of Tillsonburg as well. So thank you for the work that you continue to do, along with the partners, some of who are in this room, that provide value to all our stakeholders. Are there any motions or notice of motions to be brought before this special meeting of council? Seeing none, we'll move to the confirmation bylaw. I think Councillor Govese, you have that, please.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Rosehart that bylaw 2022-049 to confirm the proceedings of the special council meeting held on June 28, 2022 be read for a first, second, third, and final reading, and that the mayor and the clerk be and are hereby authorized to sign the same and place a corporate seal thereunto.
Thank you, Councillor. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And a motion to adjourn. Counselor Rosehart, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, second by Council Clavesi, that the special council meeting held on June 28, 2022 be adjourned at 12:23 PM. Thank you. Done.
Okay, discussion. No discussion. Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Thanks, everyone. Thanks again, everyone. And Mr. Chair, what's your anticipation